Okay, what's going on, athletes? We've got another mobility routine for you today. What we're going to do in this routine is going to be a lot of progressions from the last one that we did, as well as just some new exercises. It's going to be a full body routine once again, focusing from the lower, moving on to the upper body. You're going to need a couple things. You're going to need a broomstick or a hockey stick or something like that. And you're going to need a chair. And ideally you have a yoga mat or some sort of soft surface to do this on as well, okay? If you don't have those things, pause the video, go get those. I'm gonna put this chair to the side. Gonna put my broomstick to the side. All we need right now is just the yoga mat. And what we're gonna do to get started is we're gonna come down on one knee. And in this position, we're gonna try to get into what's called a posterior pelvic tilt. So we're often stuck in what's called an anterior tilt, where what's happening is my hips are out behind me, my rib cage is puffed up. So this is like my rib cage and this is my pelvis. They're kind of not aligned. We're gonna try to get them aligned by bringing my hips forward and my rib cage down just like this. Okay, so we're tilting the hips forward to stay in line here. My glutes are a little bit engaged to do that. My abs are a little bit engaged to do that. From that position, we're gonna go two fists out in front. And all we're gonna do is we're gonna open up as big as you possibly can. Close up and then do the same thing on the other side. So we're gonna go in both directions here. All right, that was one rep. We're gonna do 5. And then we'll move to the other leg. These are your half kneeling turns. Hopefully we've got some cool music going on again so you don't just hear me breathing the whole time. That was 2 reps. We're gonna go for 5. This whole time I'm trying to keep that posterior tilt position that I was talking about, so I'm staying on top of my hips. Okay, that's 5 on that side. I'm gonna do the same thing here on this side. Get into that same position. Posterior tilt, staying on top of my hips, opening up. That was 3. Let's do 2 more. Okay, there's our exercise number 1. I'm already sweating a little bit. Next one we're gonna do, we're gonna need your chair. So go grab your chair, and we're actually just gonna sit in it. So I'm gonna sit in the chair, and I'm actually going to kind of come towards the edge of my chair here. And what's gonna happen is we're gonna be working on our ankle mobility. Ankle mobility from a seated position. This whole exercise, one of the main things I want you thinking about is keeping your foot flat on the ground the whole time. I'm gonna focus on my right leg to start. My foot's just in a neutral position underneath my knee. What's gonna happen is I'm going to, well, these are called seated foot slides, by the way, is what we're gonna call these. First thing I'm gonna do is we're going to reach that foot forward, sliding it forward as far as you possibly can. So this is ankle plantar flexion out in front of me. Again, trying to keep that foot flat on the ground. Just hold it for a couple seconds. Back to center, and then I'm gonna come out to my right side. We're gonna go way out there as far as I can, keeping my foot flat on the ground. This would actually work a little bit better if I was wearing socks. Little pro tip. Slide it back to neutral. And I'm gonna bring it underneath me. This would be dorsiflexion. Again, trying to keep that foot flat on the ground, neutral. And we're gonna bring the foot over to my left side. So now we're getting every single angle that this ankle will go through, kind of just like if you're in your sport and we're changing in all different directions. So that was 1 time through in all 4 directions. We're just gonna come 3 times through, and then we'll switch legs. You're gonna follow along with me here. Back out to the right. Hopefully your ankles are already better than they were before from the previous mobility routines that we've been doing. That was 2 times through. Let's do it one more time. Forward as far as I can, flat on the ground. Feel that one in my hip a little bit. Good thing we're gonna get some more hip mobility soon. And back to my left one more time here. And I'm gonna switch legs. I'm gonna do the same thing on my left leg. I like to hang my other leg off to the side just to give myself some more room. And we're gonna do the same thing here. Out forward. Out to the side. Sliding underneath me. Trying to keep that foot flat. Holding it just for a second or two on each one of these reps. And as you're holding it, it's a great opportunity to really push that foot flat down into the ground. Those 2 reps, let's do 1 more time through. Perfect. There's our ankle mobility for today. What we're gonna do from here, I'm gonna move my chair over to the side and I come down into the 90-90 position, which we should be familiar with from our last routine, okay? 90-90 position, so I'm staying on top of staying fairly upright in my torso. Front hip and knee are at 90, same thing with my back hip and knee. So my back thigh and my front shin should be parallel with each other. From this position, we can go hands on the ground. It'll be a little bit easier to get started. If you get really good at this, you can do this whole thing without hands on the ground. What we're gonna do is we're gonna peel that back knee off the ground as far as you can. When you can't go any further, we're gonna bring both knees over to the other side. Now when I'm here in this position, our little progression is I'm gonna take my back foot and I'm going to rotate it up off the ground, holding it here for just a 1, 2, 3 seconds, relax down, and then do the opposite. Open up as far as I can, rotate over to the other side, and then lift up this back knee, or back foot, sorry. Holding it for about 1, 2, 3 seconds, relax down. That was 2 reps, we're gonna do 10 total, so this will be 5 on each side. Open up, bring the other leg through, and then hold 1, 2, and 3. You might find, if you're anything like me, that your hip likes to cramp up in this exercise. That's totally normal. You should hopefully notice that getting better throughout your sets and reps. You may also find if your hips are not very mobile that you can't even get this back foot off the ground just yet. That's actually okay. I just want you to think about rotating so that knee is pushing into the ground, foot's trying to come off the ground, and you'll still get a similar effect. It just means that you don't quite have the mobility that we're looking for yet. pretty sure that's been 6 reps. We're gonna go for 10. One more on each side here. Last one. Awesome. So there's our rollover. So 90-90 roll over and lift. That's what we're calling that. From there, we're gonna do some more hips. You're gonna grab your chair, if you have it. Grab your chair. This is gonna help you for your balance on this exercise. You're gonna hold it out in front of you. I'm gonna bring it forward just a touch here. So it's gonna be in front of me. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with my right leg on the ground and my right hand on the chair. From this position, I'm going to hinge, kind of like I'm in a deadlift position. I'm gonna bring my left foot off the ground. So it's just hinging out behind me. My knee is soft, my hips are soft. What's gonna happen in this hip airplane is I'm going to open up my hips as far as I possibly can. And then I'm going to close back down. Okay? This chair is here for balance the whole time. Opening up and closing down. I'm gonna do this 10 times. 10 times in a row. And then I'll switch legs and I'll do 10 times on the other side. So I'm square to the ground and then I'm opening up. That was 4. 5. So there's a lot of mobility and stability. So you may feel your hip starting to light up a little bit. That's okay. That's 7. 8. 9. And 10. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. I'm just going to turn around. Same thing here on this side. Set up on my left leg, hinging, opening up. Sometimes I like to put my free hand kind of just on my hip, just as a way to guide my hips to open up here. That's 4 reps. We got 3 more. Opening up as big as you possibly can. It was 8. 9. Oop, I always mess up on the last one. And 10 here. Awesome. My hips are getting going. Those are assisted hip airplanes. It's assisted just because we've got the chair in front of you. Yes, you can eventually progress to no chair. Those are tough though. From that position, we're actually going to keep the chair here. I'm going to keep it to my left side. We're going to keep the chair and we're going to do some more hips. What's going to happen in this position is we're going to do hip cars. So if you did our last mobility routine, then you'll remember hip cars that we did on our hands and knees. We're going to do the same thing, but we're going to do it standing upright. So I'm going to stand upright, one hand. So it'll be my left hand on the chair, my right leg is going to come up and do the hip car. We're going to come up as high as I can. I'm going to come out as far as I can. When I can't go any further, rotate that knee, swing back behind you, down to the center. And then I'm going to reverse it, going back, out and over. Imagine like you're coming up and over a hurdle here. Keeping it high all the way around, back down to center. That's one rep. We're just going to do 3. So we're going to come nice and slowly on each rep. I'll show you one from the side so you can see what it looks like there. This will be our last rep. I'm going to come up as high as I can, out as far as I can. From this position, nice and slowly rotate, keep it high, over, down and around. And then reversing, we're going to come back, up and over. Just like that. I'm going to switch legs. I'm going to do the same thing now on my left leg. Here we go, rising up in front, swinging out to the side, rotating, back behind me, back down to the center. That was 1. Let's do 2 more. And last one, rising up, rotating over, swing open, back and around. Ideally, throughout the weeks, you're going to notice yourself getting a little bit larger range of motions and a little bit better control, which hopefully not feel quite as hard the more times that you do this. But at the same time, you're always pushing for a little bit bigger range, so it should continue to be tough, all right? That is your standing hip cars. I'm going to put my chair to the side, and then I'm just going to give myself a little bit more space by bringing the mat over for this next exercise. We're going to call these scorpions. So we're going to come down to the ground, prone position, meaning that I'm going to be face down. I'm going to take my mic out of the pocket. What's going to happen here is I'm going to be 90 degrees in my arms. So this is going to be a low back and hip opener, but it's also going to be a chest opener. So about 90 degrees in my arms. I'm going to take one leg, I'm going to swing it over to the other side, trying to touch the ground behind me. Back to center, same thing on the other side. So what's happening, taking my left leg, reaching to my right side, and as I'm in this position, I should feel my right chest, kind of in the armpit, stretching as well. That was 4. We're going to do a total of 20, 10 on each side. Can kind of keep a little bit of a rhythm as we go. That was 10 reps. From here, I'm just going to change my elbow position a little bit just to get a bit of a different angle for my chest. Going to reach a little bit higher. And again, just getting a little bit different angles of stretches for my chest here. That side's a little bit tighter for me. I can't quite touch the ground right now. This is 16. One more on each side. Perfect. There is our scorpion exercise. Our second last one, guys. We're almost there. This is going to be another shoulder one, so we're moving right up to the upper body. I'm gonna take my chair. You're gonna need all three actually. You're gonna need your yoga mat, your chair, and your broomstick for this exercise. We're gonna be stretching out your lat muscles. It's part of your shoulders and your back. And important to stretch it if we want good overhead mobility, all right? So if you're doing overhead pressing or maybe front racks, so like a front squat, or if you're, say, a volleyball athlete and you want good overhead stability and strength as well. So we're gonna come knees in front of the chair, underhand grip on your broomstick or your hockey stick, and then you're gonna put elbows on your chair. From this position, it's important to get your spine right. So I don't wanna stretch by just extending my back, okay? That's not gonna be stretching the lats. What we wanna do is actually the opposite. So I wanna tuck my pelvis and round my back. And then from that rounded position, I'm going to try to reach my head through my elbows. And then I should get a stretch in my lats, which is this muscle right here. So just behind your shoulders. Reaching my head through in that position, holding it for about a 3, 2, 1, and then back. So it'd be good as well if you get a good exhale at the bottom. All right, so I'm gonna go rounded shoulders, reach my head, exhale. As you exhale, you should feel a little bit more space come to you. We're gonna do that 5 times. That was number 2. Three. 4. Last one here. So even though you know that you could get more space by extending your back, remember that's not what we want because you're not going to be stretching the right muscles. So staying rounded. I'm just going to show you one more time. Staying rounded, exhale. That one feels good. That is our broomstick lat stretch on the chair. Last one that we're going to do, guys, before we get into some core work. I'm going to move my chair out of the way. We don't need the broomstick anymore either. All we need now is a wall. So we did wall angels seated down in our last one. This one we're just gonna do it standing up. So from this position, I'm gonna bring my feet, let's say about 6 inches away from the wall. And then I wanna tuck my pelvis, just like we did in the very first exercise, tuck it underneath me so that I can put my low back in the ground. So you shouldn't be able to put a hand in your low back between the wall. There should be no space there. From that position, I'm going to bring my shoulders and head into the wall, and then elbows and wrists into the wall. Okay, now that I've got those points of contact, I'm reaching up as high as I can, keeping those points of contact, and back down. Some of you are going to find that you have easy range of motion. You can go all the way up, all the way down. Some of you might not even be able to quite get your wrists into the wall, and that is okay. You're just going to do the best that you can with whatever range that you have for the time being. And we're gonna hopefully just see that improve over these next few weeks. We're gonna go 10 times up and down. That's 5. Nice and controlled. Keeping those points of contact, keeping your low back in the wall. 7. 8. 2 more. 9 and 10. Awesome. Ooh, that gets the shoulders going. Okay, that is all the mobility exercises. I'm gonna walk you through now our 3 core exercises for today. I'm just gonna walk you through one round of it, and then if you'd like to, or not if you like to, you have to go through the next sets of it. So depending on what week it is, it's probably 3 or 4 sets of this core routine. I'm just gonna walk you through one time so that you know what you're doing. Exercise number 1 is gonna be a dead bug with a pullover. You need a dumbbell for this. If you don't have a dumbbell, that's fine. You can actually just use maybe like a water bottle, some sort of a object. And that's just gonna add a little bit of weight. You know, it could be like even a heavy textbook or something like that. We're gonna get into our dead bug position, holding the dumbbell, hands up above the shoulders, and then knees up at 90 degrees. So we should remember this position from our last one. You're gonna reach out one leg, both arms, back to center. The whole time here, number one important thing is low back stays down into the ground. Doing that by using my core. That was 3 reps, we're gonna go for 12. Awesome. That was 12 reps of our dead bug pullovers. From there, we're gonna go into Russian twists. Russian twists are one of the most butchered exercises out there, so let's try to do this one right. Good setup for this one is we're gonna go heels lightly on the ground to start, leaning back, arms reaching up long. Now this whole time, imagine that there's a rope attached to your chest and it's pulling you open instead of getting rounded. So I'm opened up in the chest, hands are up, heels can stay on the ground, or if you can take them off. That'll be a little bit tougher. You're gonna rotate, slow and controlled to the one side, slow and controlled to the other side. We're gonna do that 12 times. This will just be 6 on each side. Pay attention to the reps in your program because they will adjust from week to week. It's 8. Nice and controlled. There you go, that's 12 Russian twists. Our last exercise now in this core circuit. I'm sweating. We're gonna go in a plank position. I'm gonna put 40 seconds on the clock. Okay, if you are feeling great and you wanna go for 60 seconds, be my guest, let's go for 60 seconds. We're gonna start though, this program starts at 40 seconds. So we're gonna go elbows beneath the shoulders, hands in front of the elbows, 40 seconds on the clock. Let's start now. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna lift one leg. You're gonna hold that for about 10 seconds, or ideally exactly 10 seconds, and then switch legs. So we're switching legs every 10 seconds here in this position. Glutes should be working to keep that leg up, and then we're just staying strong in the core. Now we just got 10 more seconds to go. Core should be really strong, kind of like you're doing a crunch, and not caving in your low back. And that was it. That was time. 40 seconds already. All right, guys, there's one round through your core work. Let's get through a couple more rounds. Let me know if you have any questions at all. Reach out. I'll be happy to help. Thanks for following along.